In the second half of the 20th century, America met a young woman whose very existence defied the odds. Born into rural poverty. Raised amid trauma and instability. A black girl from the segregated South. By all conventional logic, she was not meant to become one of the most influential women on the planet. Yet Oprah Winfrey did exactly that. She became a talk show host, a media mogul, a billionaire philanthropist, and, to millions, a trusted friend in their living rooms. This is the full story of Oprah Winfrey. From an isolated farm in Mississippi, to a studio empire in Chicago, to a global platform that reshaped culture, television, and what it means to survive, and then to heal. Chapter 1: Roots in Mississippi. Oprah Gayle Winfrey was born on January 29, 1954, in the small town of Kosciuszko, Mississippi. Her birth name, spelled on the original records, was *Orpah*, after a figure in the biblical Book of Ruth. But nurses, relatives, and neighbors struggled with the unusual name. They mispronounced it. They transposed the letters. Over time, *Orpah* became *Oprah*, and the name stuck. Her mother, Venita Lee, was an unmarried teenager working as a maid. Her father, Vernon Winfrey, was a young man serving in the military at the time of her birth. They were not married, and for much of Oprah's early childhood, they would live separately. With her mother leaving to find work up north, Oprah spent her first years with her grandmother, Hattie Mae, on a tiny farm in Mississippi. Hattie Mae was strict, religious, and poor. There were no fancy toys, no television, and very little money. But there were books. There was the Bible. And there was church. From as early as 3 years old, little Oprah was reciting Bible verses aloud in church, delivering lines with such passion and clarity that adults began calling her the preacher. She learned to read before most children her age. She devoured the Bible. She devoured any book she could find. Words became her escape, and storytelling became her gift. But the world outside those stories was harsh. The Mississippi of Oprah's childhood was still deeply segregated. Jim Crow laws and customs dictated where black people could live, sit, eat, and walk. Racism wasn't an abstract concept, it was the air she breathed. Her grandmother, keenly aware of the limits enforced upon black people in the South, drilled into Oprah a simple directive. You have to do more. You have to be more. You have to get an education. It was a seed that would shape the rest of Oprah's life. Chapter 2: Milwaukee, Poverty and Pain. At 6 years old, Oprah's life changed dramatically. Her mother, Venita, had moved north to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, in search of better work. Now, she sent for her daughter. Oprah left the familiar fields and church pews of Mississippi and entered the concrete reality of a Midwestern city. The family lived in cramped housing and often in outright poverty. Venita worked long hours as a housekeeper. There was never quite enough money, never quite enough stability. And with the move came something far darker than financial struggle. Around the age of 9, Oprah began to experience repeated sexual abuse by a cousin, an uncle, and a family friend. These assaults were secret, shameful, and traumatic. She was told to be quiet. Told that no one would believe her. Told that this was her fault. For years, Oprah carried that burden alone. In her early teenage years, her behavior reflected the turmoil inside. She acted out. Stayed out late. Talked back. Stole small amounts of money. By the standards of the strict adults around her, she was becoming a problem child. At 14, the secret that had defined her pain emerged in a devastating way. Oprah became pregnant. In an era and a community where teenage pregnancy carried intense stigma, she was terrified and ashamed. She hid the pregnancy for as long as she could. The baby, her son, was born prematurely and died soon after birth. Oprah would later say that the loss of that child, the child she was not ready or able to raise, became, in some ways, a turning point. It was not a redemption story, not immediately. But it was a breaking point that forced adults in her life to make a choice. Continue as they had been, or try to change the trajectory of this young girl's life. Chapter 3: Nashville, a strict hand and a second chance. In her mid-teens, Oprah was sent to live with her father, Vernon Winfrey, in Nashville, Tennessee. Vernon was a barber and a disciplinarian. He believed, deeply, that education was the way out of poverty and limitation. In his small home, there were rules. You must read a book every week. You must recite what you've learned. You must be home on time. You must make good grades, or face consequences. For a girl who had grown up in chaos, this level of structure was jarring, sometimes harsh, but also life-saving. Vernon insisted that Oprah attend church, work hard in school, and avoid the roads that had already brought her such pain. And something remarkable happened. The girl who was once labeled wayward began to excel. She attended East Nashville High School, where her natural gifts with language and performance finally found a public stage. She joined the speech team. She entered oratorical contests, winning many of them. She became the first black girl to be crowned Miss Fire Prevention in Nashville, a local beauty and public speaking title sponsored by the fire department. It wasn't just about beauty. It was about poise, presence, and the ability to communicate. Local radio stations took notice. At age 17, Oprah landed a job reading the news part-time for WVOL, a black radio station in Nashville. She was still in high school, still living under her father's strict rules. But for a few hours a day, she became a voice that people in the city listened to. It was her first real step into media, a step that would define the rest of her life. Her talent also earned her a full scholarship to Tennessee State University, a historically black university in Nashville, where she studied communications and performed in the campus speaking competitions. Oprah never forgot that this second chance, this shift from Milwaukee to Nashville, from chaos to structure, saved her. She would later say, very plainly, "If I hadn't been sent to my father, I would have gone in a completely different direction. I might not even be alive." Chapter 4: Breaking into Television. While still a teenager, Oprah's voice on the radio caught the attention of local TV stations. In the early 1970s, television news was overwhelmingly white and male. Black women, especially young ones, were rarely seen behind the anchor desk. Yet Oprah Winfrey, a 19-year-old college student, was hired by WLAC-TV, later WTVF, in Nashville as a news reporter and, soon after, as a co-anchor. She became the first black female news anchor at the station, and one of the youngest people ever to hold such a job in the city. But the road from there was not a straight upward climb. Several years later, in the mid-1970s, Oprah was recruited to a bigger market, Baltimore, Maryland. She joined WJZ-TV as a co-anchor on the evening news. It was a major break, to larger audience, a more prestigious slot, and significantly higher expectations. Yet, Oprah struggled. The news demanded detachment, short, tight scripts, and an emotional distance from the stories. But Oprah felt everything. She cried. She reacted. She stumbled over trying to sound like what she thought a serious news anchor should sound like. Station executives took notice, in the wrong way. They soon removed her from the co-anchor position. For many young journalists, that might have been the end of the story. For Oprah Winfrey, it was the beginning of exactly what she was meant to do. Chapter 5, Discovering Talk, People Are Talking. After being taken off the news desk, Oprah was reassigned at WJZ-TV to co-host a new local talk show called People Are Talking alongside journalist Richard Shear. At first, it might have seemed like a demotion, from hard news to daytime chatter. Instead, it was the most important professional discovery of her life. On People Are Talking Oprah didn't have to read from a teleprompter and pretend to be detached. She could react. She could listen. She could laugh, challenge, and empathize. She interviewed everyday people and the occasional celebrity, but what stood out was how she connected. Unlike the more polished, distant hosts of the era, Oprah came across as real. She openly acknowledged her feelings. She didn't hide her emotions. She admitted when she didn't know something. The audience responded. Over 8 years in Baltimore, Oprah honed the skills that would later define her. The ability to ask the question everyone else was afraid to ask. And the ability to sit in silence, allowing someone else's truth to surface. Her work on People Are Talking began to draw regional attention. And then, one day, a phone call came that would change everything. Chapter 6, Chicago, AM Chicago to national stardom. In 1983, Chicago was home to one of the most competitive television markets in the United States. Daytime TV was dominated by The Phil Donahue Show hosted by Phil Donahue, whose audience participation format had revolutionized talk. Local ABC station WLS-TV was struggling with a low-rated morning talk program called AM Chicago Star. They needed a new host, someone inexpensive, someone fresh. They offered the job to Oprah Winfrey. In January 1984, Oprah moved to Chicago and took over AM Chicago Star. The show aired at 9 a.m. Within just a few months, ratings began to climb. Within a year, Oprah had done the unthinkable. She surpassed Phil Donahue in the Chicago market. Her style was unlike anyone else's. She brought the audience into the conversation. She didn't just interview guests, she joined them. She shared parts of her own story, her poverty, her teenage pregnancy, her trauma, in a way that created a sense of shared vulnerability. By 1986, the momentum was undeniable. AM Chicago was expanded to a full hour. It was revamped. And on September 8, 1986, a new show launched into national syndication. The Oprah Winfrey Show. What began as a local Chicago program would soon become the highest-rated talk show in American television history. Chapter 7, Defining a New Kind of Talk Show. At first, The Oprah Winfrey Show resembled many daytime talk shows of the 1980s. Relationship dramas, cheating scandals, weight loss stories, surprising reunions. But Oprah was restless. She didn't want to preside over endless sensationalism. She wanted more depth. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, she began to shift the show's tone. She moved away from purely sensational displays and toward something more personal, more introspective, more transformational. The show tackled issues like Surviving sexual abuse and domestic violence. Addiction and recovery. Racism and bigotry. Health, spirituality, and self-improvement. Mental health and shame. And through it all, Oprah positioned herself not as a distant, judgmental interview, but as someone on the same journey. In 1988, she publicly revealed her history of childhood sexual abuse and her teenage pregnancy, breaking a powerful taboo, especially for a black woman in mainstream American media. By sharing her most painful experiences, Oprah set a precedent. You could talk about trauma. You could name the unnameable. You could turn shame into conversation, and, in some cases, into healing. Her show also became a powerful platform for books and ideas. In 1996, she launched Oprah's Book Club *, a segment that would, over time, sell millions of copies of selected titles and introduce serious literature into mainstream daytime TV. Nearly any book chosen by Oprah became a bestseller overnight, a phenomenon dubbed the Oprah effect. But her influence extended far beyond publishing. Chapter 8: The Business of Oprah, Harpo and Ownership. Behind the scenes, Oprah was not just hosting a show. She was building an empire. Encouraged by her lawyer and a growing sense of her own leverage, Oprah made a critical decision early in her national career: she would own her show. In 1986, she founded Harpo Productions *, Oprah spelled backwards. Within a few years, she secured the rights to The Oprah Winfrey Show * through Harpo, rather than simply working as an employee of a network. That move changed everything. It meant that Oprah didn't just get a salary, she got ownership. Ownership of the show, of the content, of the syndication revenue, and of the creative direction. She acquired a former armory in Chicago and converted it into Harpo Studios *, one of the few major television production studios owned by a black woman. From this base, she produced films and miniseries, including The Women of Brewster Place *, 1989. Numerous TV movies and specials. Later, collaborations with major directors and actors. She co-founded *O, the Oprah magazine *, in 2000, which quickly became one of the most successful magazine launches in publishing history. Over the years, she launched spin-off shows and helped build the careers of other media personalities, including Dr. Phil McGraw, Dr. Phil *, Dr. Mehmet Ounce, the Dr. Ounce Show *, Rachel Ray, Rachel Ray *, Suze Orman, Iron Lana Van Zandt, and more. Each partnership expanded her reach and influence. By the early 2000s, Oprah Winfrey had become America's first black female billionaire, a symbol of what was possible for women, for black Americans, and for anyone who dared to imagine owning, rather than merely appearing in, their own work. Her wealth was not inherited, not built on old money, but on the power of communication and smart, strategic ownership. Chapter 9: Acting and Hollywood. While building her talk show, Oprah also pursued acting, a dream she had nurtured since young adulthood. In 1985, she landed a role that would change her public image forever. Sophia, in Steven Spielberg's film adaptation of Alice Walker's novel ***, The Color Purple ***. Oprah's performance was raw, fierce, and unforgettable. Her portrayal of a strong, unbreakable black woman in the Jim Crow South earned her an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actress. It was a stunning achievement for a woman who, only a few years earlier, had been a local TV host in Baltimore. She went on to star in and/or produce other projects, including The Women of Brewster Place *, 1989, as both actor and producer. Beloved *, 1998, adapted from Toni Morrison's novel, which Oprah championed. Later roles in films like *, The Butler *, 2013, Selma *, 2014, as producer, and *A Wrinkle in Time *, 2018. Behind the camera, she used Harpo Films to bring complex black stories to the screen long before Hollywood began its more recent reckoning with representation. In the 2010s and 2020s, she continued to produce high-profile projects, including a 2023 reimagining of *, The Color Purple *, this time as a producer, supporting a new generation of storytellers. Chapter 10. Transformation, Weight, and the Body. Parallel to her public success, Oprah lived much of her personal struggle with her body in front of millions. Throughout her life, she battled with her weight and self-image, gaining and losing, sometimes very publicly. In 1988, she famously wheeled a wagon of animal fat onto her stage, representing the 67 pounds she had lost on a liquid diet. The image became iconic and haunting. Like many extreme diets, the weight loss was difficult to maintain. She regained weight over time. This cycle played out repeatedly, in full view of the public eye. And yet, Oprah eventually transformed even this into a conversation about something deeper. She began to speak about the difference between weight and worth. About self-acceptance. About the connection between emotional pain and the ways we cope with food and body image. Years later, she would take a significant stake in the weight loss company Weight Watchers, now WW, and join its board, emphasizing not just dieting, but sustainable lifestyle change and self-compassion. Her ongoing, imperfect journey with her body made millions feel less alone in their own struggles. Chapter 11. The Oprah Effect and Cultural Power. By the late 1990s and early 2000s, Oprah's influence had reached a level few in media had ever approached. If she endorsed a product, it often sold out overnight. If she featured a book, it could transform an unknown author into a literary star. This phenomenon became known as the Oprah Effect. Her annual **** Favorite Things **** episodes, where she surprised audience members with gifts ranging from luxury items to cars, became part of American pop culture. In 2004, an episode where every audience member received a new Pontiac G6, immortalized in the phrase, "You get a car. You get a car. Everybody gets a car," became one of the most replayed TV moments of the decade. But her influence was not only commercial. In 2007 to 2008, Oprah publicly endorsed Barack Obama for President of the United States. Her support was unusual. She had rarely, if ever, endorsed a presidential candidate so openly. Studies later suggested that Oprah's endorsement significantly boosted Obama's visibility and support in the Democratic primary, another testament to just how much trust audiences placed in her. Yet with great influence came controversy. Some critics accused Oprah of promoting pseudoscience or unproven wellness ideas through certain guests. Others argued that her deeply personal style of television had contributed to what some called the Oprahization of culture, where private pain and confession became public spectacle. She also faced a high-profile lawsuit from the beef industry in the late 1990s after commenting on her show that news about mad cow disease had stopped her cold from eating another burger. A group of Texas cattlemen sued her, alleging that her comments had harmed the beef market. The trial, held in Amarillo, Texas, drew enormous media attention. Ultimately, Oprah won the case, defending her right to speak openly on her platform. Through praise and criticism, she remained a central, and sometimes polarizing, figure in the American conversation. Chapter 12: Philanthropy and Giving Back. As her wealth grew, so did Oprah's commitment to giving back. She created Oprah's Angel Network a charity that raised tens of millions of dollars for causes ranging from education to disaster relief. She encouraged her viewers to participate, proving that small donations, aggregated across millions of people, could create massive change. She funded college scholarships for hundreds of students, many of them young black men at Morehouse College in Atlanta. Over the years, her gifts to education alone have totaled well into the hundreds of millions of dollars. One of her most ambitious projects was the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy for Girls in South Africa. In the early 2000s, moved by her visit to South Africa and by conversations with Nelson Mandela, Oprah committed to building a world-class boarding school for academically gifted girls from disadvantaged backgrounds. The school opened in 2007, representing an investment of more than $40 million of her own money. The goal was not simply to offer education, but to create leaders. The academy has since produced graduates who have attended top universities around the world and gone on to careers in medicine, engineering, law, and social impact. Oprah's philanthropy extended to disaster relief, including major contributions after Hurricane Katrina and to organizations working on child protection, health, and arts and culture. She consistently stated that, having grown up with so little, she felt both compelled and deeply grateful to be able to give back on such a scale. Chapter 13: The End of the Oprah Winfrey Show. After 25 seasons, more than 4,500 episodes, and countless lives touched, Oprah decided it was time to close a defining chapter. In 2011, she ended the Oprah Winfrey Show star. The announcement was emotional, not only for viewers, but for Oprah herself and the staff at Harpo Studios. For a quarter of a century, the show had aired weekday afternoons, becoming a ritual for millions. The set in Chicago was more than a studio, it was a cultural landmark. The final episode, which aired on May 25, 2011, did not feature celebrity guests or extravagant surprises. Instead, Oprah used the hour to speak directly to her viewers, thanking them, teaching, reflecting. She talked about what the show had taught her. That everyone, regardless of fame or status, shares a core human desire. To be seen. To be heard. To know that what they say matters. She reminded her audience that the real power was not in her alone, but in the collective energy and intention that they had brought to the show over the years. When the lights dimmed on the Oprah Winfrey Show it was the end of an era in television. But for Oprah, it was also a strategic transition. Chapter 14: Own the Oprah Winfrey Network. Even before her talk show ended, Oprah was preparing a new venture, her own cable network. In partnership with Discovery Communications, she launched OWN, the Oprah Winfrey Network in January 2011. The launch was rocky. Ratings were lower than expected. Critics questioned whether viewers would follow Oprah to a new channel, especially as media consumption habits were changing with the rise of streaming and social media. But Oprah adjusted. She retooled programming, took a more hands-on leadership role, and brought in new shows that reflected her core interests. Personal growth, spirituality, meaningful interviews, and Black storytelling. OWN found its footing with programs such as Super Soul Sunday *, conversations with spiritual leaders, thinkers, and authors. Oprah's Life Class *, televised seminars on life lessons and self-improvement. Original scripted series, including collaborations with creators like Tyler Perry. Reality and docu-series exploring family, relationships, and fame. OWN also became a hub for in-depth, high-profile interviews. Over the years, Oprah conducted widely viewed sit-downs with public figures including Lance Armstrong, Whitney Houston, Rihanna, and, notably, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in 2021, an interview that drew enormous global attention. While OWN never replicated the daily dominance of the Oprah Winfrey Show it solidified Oprah's position as a network owner and long-term media force. Chapter 15: Friendships, Love, and Private Life. Despite her intense public visibility, Oprah has always been deliberate about what she shares and what remains private. For decades, she has been in a relationship with businessman and author Stedman Graham ***. The couple became publicly known in the mid-1980s. They announced an engagement in 1992, but never married. Over time, Oprah has explained that the traditional roles and expectations of marriage did not align with the life she was called to live. She has been open about choosing not to have children, arguing that her career and global responsibilities required a level of focus that she did not believe was compatible with the type of hands-on parenting she would have wanted to provide. Her closest friendship, outside of her romantic life, has long been with Gayle King a journalist and television host. Their bond, forged in their early careers, has endured decades of fame, scrutiny, and change. To millions, Oprah, Stedman, and Gayle represent different forms of love and partnership, redefining what family can look like. In her free time, Oprah has spoken of finding joy in simple rituals. Reading, walking her dogs, spending time in nature, and practicing gratitude. Chapter 16: Spirituality, Meaning, and Super Soul. As Oprah matured, especially in the 2000s and 2010s, her work increasingly reflected her spiritual journey. On The Oprah Winfrey Show she introduced audiences to teachers and writers like Eckhart Tolle, Marianne Williamson, Deepak Chopra, Ayanlana Vanzant. They discussed concepts such as mindfulness, conscious living, the law of attraction, and inner peace. Critics sometimes accused her of blending faiths or encouraging a pick-and-choose spirituality. Some religious leaders argued that her message replaced traditional doctrine with a more individualistic, self-help theology. But for millions of viewers, Oprah opened doors to exploring inner life, purpose, and the idea that personal transformation is possible regardless of one's past. Her later series, Super Soul Sunday took this further, featuring long, thoughtful conversations about existence, suffering, joy, and meaning. Oprah consistently returned to one message: that every person has a calling, something they are uniquely positioned to give the world. Her own life, she suggested, was proof that circumstances of birth do not have to dictate the outcome of a life. Chapter 17: Legacy, Criticism, and Complexity. Oprah Winfrey's legacy is enormous and complex. On the one hand, she is celebrated as a trailblazer for women and black people in media, a self-made billionaire, a philanthropist whose giving has transformed thousands of lives, a cultural figure who normalized talking openly about mental health, trauma, and healing. On the other hand, she has faced serious critique. Some observers argue that her focus on individual transformation, positive thinking, and personal responsibility can obscure systemic issues like racism, sexism, and economic inequality. Others have challenged specific guests or ideas she has platformed, questioning whether some of her shows lent credibility to questionable medical advice or unproven wellness claims. There have been debates about whether her emphasis on confession and emotional storytelling has helped people heal, or simply encouraged a culture hungry for spectacle. Oprah has acknowledged that she, like anyone with a large platform, has made mistakes along the way. Yet she has also argued that her guiding principle has remained to uplift, to inform, to inspire. No single narrative can fully explain the scale of her impact. Chapter 18: The Later Years, Continued Influence. In the 2010s and 2020s, Oprah has gradually stepped back from daily television, but not from public life. She has continued to host specials, conduct high-profile interviews, produce films and series, and deliver keynote speeches. She has been honored with numerous awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the Jean Hersholt Humanitarian Award from the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, multiple Emmys and Lifetime Achievement recognitions. Her 2018 speech at the Golden Globe Awards, where she spoke powerfully about truth, justice, and the #MeToo movement, ignited speculation about a possible presidential run, rumors she has repeatedly denied any intention of fulfilling. She continues to be a major player in media and philanthropy, with a net worth measured in the billions and a platform that extends across television, streaming, publishing, and live events. Through it all, she has maintained a guiding narrative: that she is, at heart, a girl from rural Mississippi who learned to read on her grandmother's porch. A survivor of sexual abuse and poverty who turned pain into purpose. A woman who took control of her own story, and then helped millions of others feel seen in theirs. Epilogue: The Story Oprah Tells. Oprah Winfrey's life is often framed as a rags-to-riches story, a classic tale of American success. But it is more than that. It is the story of a child wounded in ways most never see, who decided that her wounds would not be her final identity. It is the story of a young woman told to be quiet, who chose instead to build an empire with her voice. It is the story of someone who, given extraordinary power, chose, imperfectly, controversially, yet persistently, to ask, "How can I use this platform to help someone else?" Her journey asks uncomfortable questions of all of us. What does it mean to transcend your circumstances? What does it mean to own your truth and your work? What responsibility comes with influence? Oprah once said, "Turn your wounds into wisdom." For millions, that sentence alone has been a lifeline. From a farm in Mississippi, to the center of American culture, to a global symbol of resilience and reinvention, Oprah Winfrey's story is still being written. And as long as people seek meaning, solace, and inspiration in the stories of others, her voice, calm, insistent, and deeply human, will continue to echo.